Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel. And it is Saturday, which means it is time for Star Trek. And today, we are going to be talking about weapons. But before we do that, let's say hi to everybody. Hello to Hammer.
Hello.
Hello to Irate Prostate.
Greetings.
And hello to Skeptalk.
Live long and prosper.
And functional, I'm guessing he has melted into a puddle in his apartment. So I'm sure he is with us in spirit. But this topic is courtesy of functional. He suggested that we talk about our favorite weapons, and they do not have to be limited to Federation weapons because, let's face it, the Federation's weaponry is kind of boring. Like, except for the quantum torpedo, maybe.
Well, they're the only ones who use collineated energy. Everyone else uses blasters and disruptors and stuff like that. So that makes them interesting, at least in the sense of against everybody else. They're different.
Yeah, they're different.
But it is a pretty boring weapon. It's more of a tool, a utility tool, than really is a weapon anyway.
Yeah. Because they even use their ship's phasers not just for battle, but for, like, they use drilling and, like...
Let's make a cave. Okay, a cave!
Just fun. Just for fun. Let's blast some asteroids.
Yep. Let's shoot
really
some
play asteroids.
Yeah, really.
Yeah. So, when you really think about it, because... You know, on the surface, you think, oh, Star Trek exploration. No, when you really think about it, there's a lot of weaponry in Star Trek. And it's mostly from the bad guys. And let's face it, they have some really cool weapons. And I'm going to include some of the stuff from the Mirror Universe. Because let me tell you, there are some times when I would love to have an agonizer.
Agonizer, that's just what I was thinking.
I would love to have an agonizer sometime.
Fuck you!
Yep. What's that? I'm sorry, what?
Raise your children with the new agonizer. Instant obedience.
Yeah. Clean your room. I don't wanna. Your agonizer, please.
Just as long as we're kind of on the light side of this, one of the most fun things in all the weaponry that I know about has to do with the Jem'Hadar putting a bayonet on the end of their plasma rifles.
Yeah, what was with that?
Well, because they have they're poisoned. They have some kind of a nerve thing. It causes paralysis if you get stuck with the bayonet.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So, but I always thought that, you got a plasma rifle. Why not put a bayonet on it? Oh, hell yeah. So I like that. Another thing that I like, what was the little knife that the Klingons give to their kids?
Oh, I can't remember the name of it, but it's the first knife, right?
Yeah, it's like a dagger or something. I can't remember.
The Klingons have like 8,000 different knives for specifics. Don't use that knife. That's the ritual suicide knife.
Yeah, use the short sword. Exactly.
Use this knife. This is the revenge knife.
So it's almost like Fizbin. You use this knife when it's blue and green, and then it's nighttime, and then number 7 is available.
Yep.
Jeez.
Pretty much.
The only two that I know off the top of my head are the tuk-tuk and the cutluch.
Yeah.
So
if there's more than that, as far as just hand knives, I don't know.
The cutluch is the ceremonial dagger, right?
Right.
What was the hooked knife, though? The bat'leth or something?
The bat'leth?
Yes.
Bat'leth is like the
It's like a sword.
Yeah. That's their combat sword.
I remember that one.
It's a parallel sword that can decapitate a person with one stroke.
That's handy.
But not dual bladed, not dual edged. It only cuts one way.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful design. I love it.
It's a management tool to me.
Well, technically, you're supposed to use it to kill your superior officer if he's weak. So yeah, it is a management tool.
It is. Exactly.
Yeah, we're not going to put you on report. We're just going to decapitate you.
Yep.
Bon courage, les autres.
Sir, I think you're weak. I think you've lost your nerve. Right this way, please. And it's interesting that I would say that the Jem'Hadar themselves would be considered a weapon. Not just the weapons that they use. I would consider
They're
the
certainly
way that
dangerous.
the founders, the way that the founders and the
Yeah.
Vorta used them.
Yeah.
I would say that the Jem'Hadar are basically biological weapons, because they're basically drugged.
Yeah. And they're used by the founders as tools, kind of.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
a good point.
I would say that the Jem'Hadar are a form of weapon.
Yeah.
And no, I do say that the Federation has pretty much the most boring weapons besides the quantum torpedo, but I would like to amend that and add the tri-cobalt device to the cool weapons. 'Cause damn is that thing destructive.
It's funny how a lot of the weapons glow some way, except for the tri-cobalt device, which apparently is just...
It doesn't glow?
No.
Really?
When Voyager fires it at the array,
Yeah.
you don't see anything.
Huh.
There's no... You don't see a projectile. It's like it's black or something.
Interesting.
Against the black background.
It's called out of money for special effects.
Right.
Well, that kind of doesn't bode well, considering that was the first episode.
Yeah. But I mean, phasers obviously glow. Both photon torpedoes, quantum torpedoes, they all have a glow to them, but not. That's weird. But I guess it's probably money.
What about the transphasic torpedoes? They were in Voyager. Endgame? You remember that?
Don't remember.
Yeah,
Did they have?
They
did they glow?
Because future
They're designed to hurt the Borg.
Future Janeway brought them.
Yeah,
right?
Future Janeway. That was Future Janeway, and brings them back and has them installed aboard Voyager. And,
That's right.
Just one is capable of obliterating an entire Borg cube. Bye-bye. It's a bye-bye weapon.
It is very much a bye-bye weapon.
There was a Voyager episode where they're dealing with somebody who kept on erasing time. I don't remember the actual name of the episodes, but they had temporal torpedoes, right?
Chronoton torpedoes.
Chronoton.
That was the
Chronoton.
year of hell.
I just remember. Yeah. Yes, that's right.
They glowed red because one of them got lodged inside of Voyager's side, and it was just sitting in there. And it was red, glowing red.
That's actually one of my favorite scenes because it's done so well it's probably because of the two people they had find it, Tuvok and Seven, because anyone else would have just panicked, right? Oh my god, there's a Chronoton torpedo in the Jeffries tube. Ah! But Seven is like, there's a Chronoton torpedo here, and Tuvok is like, I'm coming. She's like, get here quickly. Right?
Yes.
Arrive quickly.
Arrive quickly.
Yes. It's just,
I love that line.
it's
so
just
much.
so like it provides just the right amount of gives you a smile in the middle of a
This urgent
holy
moment,
shit, is the ship gonna blow up moment?
Yes,
Exactly.
exactly.
It's just
Quintessential
arrive
Seven too, isn't it?
quickly.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's just Seven.
Only
all
her
the way.
could say that.
yes.
Arrive quickly.
And
But
then
chronoton torpedoes are great, but I was always wondering why they didn't develop temporal torpedoes. I think that would be even more devastating because when you fire it, as soon as it clears your ship, it stops its own time and then starts its own time when it reaches the target. How could you ever avoid it? There wouldn't be any use for shields or bulkheads or any of that kind of stuff. It would just stop time, travel through those things because time doesn't exist at that
but
point, and then just blow up inside whatever it was targeting. You
it
couldn't defend
could,
against it.
wouldn't it? Couldn't you risk like fucking up time at that
Probably
point? Though?
could, but it would be a devastating weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would.
This is a little bit off topic, but there was a video game that turned into a movie. I'm going to forget the name of it. It had Freddie Prinze in it, and they had a torpedo that when you fired it, it would cloak itself, and it was a long distance weapon, and it would cloak itself, and you couldn't scan for it while it was cloaked. It would be like a Klingon ship,
Okay.
and you would fire it, and it was long distance, so it would go from like where you are to like a planet several systems away. And what it would do is you fire it, and it would go to a certain point, and it would uncloak itself, get its bearings, cloak itself, and then continue on, constantly making adjustments until it got to its location. It was called a skipper missile.
I don't remember that particular weapon.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. It'll come to me, I'm sure. But all I remember is that Freddie Prinze was in it, and it was a great video game and a horrible movie because he was in it.
There was a weapon similar to that type of idea in Voyager actually. The the warhead that was designed by one planet to attack another planet.
Wing Commander. That was the name of the.
Oh, Wing Commander, yes. But the warhead that was designed to, the Dreadnought a missile that B'Elanna reprogrammed.
That was going to be one of my
smart
choices
bomb.
for a cool weapon. It was going to
Yeah.
be that. It was going to be that weapon.
Yeah, that one. That was a cool, like a weapon that you could frickin' have conversations with, and like play mind game, like strategy games with.
The best part is when it argued with itself.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun to listen to Cardassian and her voice going back and forth about
Yes.
who was going to control the missile.
Yes. That was awesome.
That was the TV show with the lady captain, Skep.
Oh yes, I heard about that one. I heard of it. There was another Star Trek with the Lady Captain. Awesome. One of the things. Speaking of the Lady Captain series, I think it was. I looked this up. I had to look it up. It was in retrospect the one where that weapons trader,
Yes.
Coven.
Yeah.
He installs this thing called an isokinetic cannon.
Yeah, and they never use it.
And they use it one time to destroy the target boy, to demonstrate it. Coven gets killed.
Mm-hmm.
You never hear what happened to it, and as far as you can tell, it stays installed on Voyager. They never talk about it again.
Yeah, like they never used the isokinetic and there's like, she even says at the beginning of this episode, like when after he demonstrates it.
Yeah.
She's like, "You've convinced me, Mr. Coven.
Yes.
I want
cannon. Yes, I want the cannon.
I want the cannon." She's like, "Why don't you use the cannon?"
Yeah, and you never hear. As far as I could tell, and I did a little bit of research, I couldn't find another mention of it, which I thought was too bad.
What would have been a really fun weapon would have been, if it was real, would have been the Photonic Cannon.
Oh well, yeah, that's a whole different deal.
Oh man, that was just Tuvok.
We've been talking about bang bang weapons.
Yes.
What about what was it? Cobalt diselenide. It's a biogenic weapon that affects the nervous system, and it's lethal to Cardassians and harmless to humans.
Isn't that like there's a lot of use of like gases as weapons in Star Trek, if you think about it. We've got
That came from For the Uniform, by the way. In DS9.
That's what I was about to say. We've got frickin' Eddington's use of that the cyanide, the thing on the Cardassian planet.
Right.
And then we have Cisco's retaliation. I can't remember what he detonated. He detonated some chemical in the atmosphere. I can't remember the chemical he detonated, but he deployed a chemical that would, basically poison the atmosphere of a Maquis colony. Then we have.
You're not thinking of trilithium resin, are you?
That's it.
Yeah. He
put trilithium.
Somebody tries to steal some from the warp engines.
Yes.
I can't remember from the Enterprise D.
Yes, and that was in the episode where Picard pretends to be Mott.
Yeah, pretty funny.
Oh, Starship Mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He even plays not himself. He's not like a confident person. He plays a sheepish person. It's funny to have an actor play another actor's acting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he even acts like when he attacks the guy that Tim Russ plays. And he's got, what does he have? It's like a drill
crossbow?
Or something, or a crossbow or whatever. Or he
ends up with two weapons. He starts off with a crossbow, then ends up with a welding torch.
Yeah, that's it. And the Tim Russ is like, you won't use that on me. And Picard actually activates the like he's like, really? He's just like, that's not Picard, right? Like that's not something he would do. like
then he puts him to sleep with a hypo, right?
Yep. So it's very interesting, like and then there's a lot of episodes where some of the crew of whichever series it happens to be is overtaken by an enemy or whatever, and we've seen different aerosolized basically anesthetics, right, being pumped into the ventilation system to incapacitate the enemy, basically, like in Prometheus, or on the Prometheus in the Message in a Bottle, where they go and they flood the everything with Nerazine. I think it is.
Sounds right.
To incapacitate the Romulans. Because they're holograms, so it doesn't matter. They can just flood the entire ship with whatever they want. It doesn't affect
Nerazine
them.
gas, yeah. I remember that.
So there's it's not just, as Skep says, it's not just bang bang weapons. There's lots of different things that have been used as weapons.
What was that weird radiation thing that they killed the whole Romulan Senate with?
Oh
yeah. Thalaron or something.
Thalaron radiation.
That's what it was. Yeah. I remember thinking it was thallium. That's related to
one of my favorite weapons is the the Tantalus device.
The Tantalus field.
Yeah.
Just turn on the TV and find somebody and kill them.
Yep.
The most brutal device has got to be the Veron T disruptor, though.
Yes, for Kifas Fajo's thing.
That was scary. When he shot at her and she like screamed and disintegrated, I was like, "Oh!"
Yeah, that
Sounds,
was pretty like for next generation. You watch that and you're like, oh, okay, this went dark. It's because up to that point, Kivas Fajo is, he's a thief, right? But he still manages to act like a jovial type of, you know what I mean? Like he's got this facade of, like,
He's a sociopath.
he is a sociopath, and you see it when he shoots her, and then he turns to Data and he goes,
It's your
see
fault.
what you did?
Yeah,
It's your fault. And you're like, what?
That's classic sociopath.
You are insane. Like, you are crazy.
See what you made me do, you son of a bitch.
Yep.
He does all the evil like it's not even a problem. It doesn't even bother him because he can force it on somebody else. I mean, in the meantime, he's smiling. That's about as psychopathic and sociopathic as you can possibly be.
I have to ask Irate Prostate, was that a call out to the old book from a certain organization you and I are both members of called Games People Play? Now look what you've made me done, you son of a bitch. Were you making that reference, Irate? On purpose? Yeah, kind of thought
it was more like accidental, but
yeah,
but is kind of real too.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you. Made me happy. Yep. Eric Byrne, Games.
You're responsible for my behaviors and feelings.
That's right. You want to be codependent? Go to Al-Anon.
Oh, Lord Famine has a good one. He says, "What about the Vidians and the weapons that beam out your organs?"
Yes, that's on my list.
That's like, could you imagine you're just exploring a planet, you don't see any other like ships in orbit or anything, so you're like, okay, this is a deserted M-class world. We're gonna go look for some lithium or dilithium that we need, and
everything seems fine.
all of a sudden, one of our crew members has no fucking lungs. What the hell is going on?
I'm getting dizzy. Why am I getting?
I mean,
it should tell you what it's doing so you can react. Ah, my spleen.
I mean, Neelix was told by Chakotay not to go any further, and he did. But, I mean, you still don't deserve to get your lungs teleported out of your body.
Dude.
But we needed them.
That's surgery.
Yeah, well, we needed them, yeah. That was still some of the best acting I've ever seen from Kate Mulgrew, that scene where she's talking to those two. And she's like, she's like, I can't put you in the brig. I'm not taking you for 80 years in the brig. And I'm not, my people don't do vengeance for we don't kill for vengeance. Oh man, that was good acting. Some of the Borg weapons too are pretty interesting because they've taken them from so many different species. Just like the amount of, I wish we knew more about Borg weaponry, honestly, because it would probably be some of the best, because the Borg take the best from everything that they assimilate, and then absorb, get rid of the rest.
Like their lasers, the Borg cutter weapon.
Yeah, that was like that.
It just saws through a Federation starship. Yeah.
What was it Riker said? They're carving us up like a turkey, or carving us up like a roast.
It literally pulled a plug out of the ship of just decks. It's like, oh my god, that was really good visuals too. That was really well done.
That was a
Impressive.
Borg
Watching
weapon.
bodies fly out and shit.
Mhm.
You know, it's kind of ooh shit. That's kind of real. Looks good.
Actually, I just want to place mark. I just wanted to place mark um, something. I, something Blind Press just said might be an idea for a future stream. Would be the moral choices made in specific episodes
Mm.
or storylines. It's some of them dubious, some of them good, but both at the command level and by individuals in different situations. I just think that might be a future idea for a stream. I'm so old and senile, I didn't want to forget it. So
That's actually a really good idea for a stream.
I don't. Well, it's just something what you said, about when you were talking about Kate Mulgrew's strong acting in talking about, I've got a problem.
Spittlebuggy says tribbles are a good weapon.
Triples were used as an interesting kind of a weapon, against the Klingon.
I
Poor
beamed them
Klingons.
onto the Klingon ship.
But I know there'll be no tribble at
tribble
all. I love that.
Scotty, you didn't beam them into space, did you?
Captain! I've watched that episode so many times.
Oh,
we
my
should have
God.
kept the phage
Yeah.
just in case.
Just in case. Right.
Make a weapon out of it. Just saying.
And you know how it's very interesting that as against biological weapons as the Federation claims to be, how many times have they used viruses as weapons?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you look at what they implanted in Hugh before they sent him back to the Borg.
Mm-hmm.
Or
that was more like a computer virus, though.
yeah. Or you look at what Section 31 did to Odo. Right? Like, that was really fucked up.
But it was smart.
Oh, it was smart. It's
still
just
fucked up.
very fucked up.
I don't know. You know me. You know how I feel about the founders. So
yeah.
I'll shut up.
Well, see, I'm the same way. I was like, Odo's the only good founder.
I'm glad he fucked them all up. Glad he killed those bastards.
You were talking about Borg weapons. Another one is those gravimetric torpedoes, the ones that emit gravitons. Think about what that means.
You'll collapse your ass.
Gravitons, yeah, basically, gravitons are the supposed. We think that they are the force carrying particle of gravity.
Yeah.
All the forces have a force carrying particle. If you had something that emitted a lot of these things, you really would have matter flying apart.
Yep.
I mean, it'd be extremely useful for destroying a planet, say, if your weapon was big enough.
It's if
simply
you had
a matter of scaling it up. Yeah.
If you had a species that was refusing to comply, and it became not worth the problem, just take out the planet.
Right.
Just rip the planet apart and move on.
You've gone from potential assimilation target to problem, and Borgs don't suffer problems for very long.
No.
So the Borg
they
does
do
not suffer
not.
problems. So there you go.
And then there's the virus that Doc put into future Janeway. It was basically I look at it as what they gave Hugh, but just on crack. And then somebody in chat says the episode where the doctor puts the consciousness from the one Vidian woman into an AI is brutal. Yeah, that was pretty sad.
So, what is the simplest weapon in all of Star Trek? I have a nominee.
Simplest.
What's your nominee, Skep?
The K-Bar combat knife. It's the Federation's standard issue combat and survival knife. It is 12.8 inches long, and it comes in the survival gear and emergency weapons caches aboard starships.
Where did we see that?
The lady captain uses one.
Oh, really?
Macrocosm.
Yeah, not surprised.
In the real world, the K-Bar is an official combat knife of the United States Marine Corps,
Yes, sir.
which is part of the Department of the Navy.
Correct, sir. How do you know so much about this stuff, Skip? Shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to imagine.
Yeah, she does when she goes all like Bug Rambo in Macrocosm. She's got like a whole survival kit.
Right. She's kitted out. She really is. Yeah.
She literally went Bug Rambo.
Yes. Still a lady.
Let me think here. The simplest weapon.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, some of some of your simple, even though the episode was like horrible and racist as shit, just your basic poison-coated weapons that the Lagosians had. I think it was the Lagosian. I think that was the species. The one where Tasha had to fight the Chicky Poo there, and all the weapons had poison on them.
Oh, yeah.
And Tasha basically allowed herself to be killed so that Crusher could take her up to the ship and revive her. And get the vaccine and all that. Like, that's just basically... The vaccine! Yeah, so fucking bad. But yeah, like, that is, to me, that is the most simple, like...
I thought you would call out a Lurpa. The Vulcan Staff.
Lurpa. You got to say it like a Vulcan. Lurpa.
No, I say it like a Texan. It's a Lurpa. Because I can't.
Sound like an American.
I can't even get close to the Vulcan pronunciation.
That's a Lurpa. Damn it.
So it's a staff?
Yeah, it's a little bit over. It's like 4 feet long or so. And it's got a semicircular blade at one end, and it's got
pommel at the other end.
Yeah, a bludgeon kind of a deal on the other.
What was the other one? The Lirpa was the one, and the one that was basically a rope. What was the other one?
In Amok Time. What was it? What was the other? I can't remember. I remember that.
She says combat.
It's called an on wound or something like that.
Yeah, she says
weapon. Exactly.
She says combat will go again. I guess whatever word she used with the wound.
Yeah, the on wound, as we say.
In other words, a piece of rope.
Yes. Well, it's kind of like a gladiator's net, but that's the idea anyway.
Kirk's diamond cannon was brought up in chat.
That he killed the Gorn with?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good call. That's a good simple weapon.
The laser whip.
Oh, from the Ferengi?
Ferengi.
Lasted one episode.
Yeah.
Or
never saw it again.
Or
right.
that weird...
But the Ferengis were badass.
Or that weird ass... I wouldn't even know if I would call it a weapon, but when in Symbiosis, when when they're holding the people hostage for the drug, and he's threatening to kill. I think he's threatening to kill Riker or something like that.
Oh, he has his hand over his heart, and
he's
he has this ability to
electrocuting him.
create
Yeah.
electricity. Yeah, that'd be a
Telepathic weapon.
handy thing to have.
Let me
Well,
tell
my
you,
cell phone needs to be charged.
that would actually work. That
Yes,
you
it
could
would.
actually really make that work, because the thing that makes your heart beat is something called
Electricity.
the atrioventricular node. And it's basically a nerve that carries an electrical impulse across the nerves of your heart that gets it to beat in a certain pattern. And if you put a load across that piece of meat, you will disrupt that and you will stop the heart. The heart will not beat effectively.
Isn't it funny that us ugly bags of mostly water run on electricity?
Yes, it is pretty hilarious. The chemistry that we ugly water bags have also is pretty goddamn refined. It's
What
pretty
episode
amazing.
was that? That was the one where they were drilling.
That was called Home Soil.
Home soil.
You are ugly bags of mostly water.
Take
Okay.
us home
I just
to
remember
warm sand. Take us
Bags
home
of
to
water, you know. But
Take us
Well-
home to warm sand. Or
there were interesting weapons that affected things like the subspace weapons. You know, that could change subspace
yes,
and tear it up, and you just didn't know what the hell they were going to do. And they actually had a test ban treaty on them.
yes. I would have liked to know more about those weapons. That would have been
the Sona. That's what it was. The Sona vessels.
yeah.
Right. There are a lot of weapons that were, or a lot of things that were used in episodes that could have been weapons. The most obviously is actually the Genesis weapon. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
but there's a lot of things that they do that I think to myself, boy, that would make a great weapon.
Yeah.
There was an
Yeah.
episode where the Enterprise D travels from where they were to the center of the galaxy to meet this omniscient being or group of beings that instead of them traveling to meet other people, they bring other people to them. This is
Oh,
what
the
Barclay.
Cytherians.
Yes, Cytherians. And Barclay says, I'm going to project this thing off to the port side of the ship that's going to cause us to warp all the way across the galaxy like that. Imagine if they did that into the front of a Klingon ship.
Yeah.
It would just destroy the,
Yeah.
I think about all the little things that they've done, all these little tricks that they do, and I think to myself, that would be devastating if it was ever used as a weapon. I mean, nanites. Imagine firing nanites from your ship at another ship, and those nanites are designed to eat energy from the shields and then eat the hull on top of that.
That's
You never have
wrong.
to actually.
That's
You never
just
have
so
to actually.
wrong.
It is wrong. You never have to actually fire a weapon at the ship because the nanites are just tools, right?
Right.
You're firing tools at the ship.
Yeah,
It's like,
we're trying to send them some tools.
here's some tools. Oh, they disassemble your shields. Oh, darn that.
We have a gift for you.
The really interesting thing is that the thing that you pointed out where they like use things as weapons is they actually, or they use, different things as not, that wouldn't necessarily be weapons. They did that with Seven's nanoprobes, basically. They made a weapon to go after 8472 just by looking at stuff in the Borg nanoprobe in their bloodstream, which is like, that'd be like figuring out how to weaponize your hemoglobin. Like that would be crazy. Like just being able to weaponize part or stuff that's in somebody's bloodstream to destroy somebody else is like, yeah, the nanoprobe torpedoes is what Sunsil Silverfall was saying. Yeah, that would was just crazy. Like being able to come up with a torpedo of nanoprobes that could affect somebody. Like that's pretty ingenious, I think.
Whatever happened to the phaser cannon from the Enterprise D with 3 nacelles on it?
That would have been cool to see more of.
You have to face the ship in the direction of the beam that you're going to fire, because it wasn't able to direct itself. It was hard mounted to the bottom of the ship.
That seems.
Are you talking about the phase cannon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Phaser cannon.
Oh, phaser cannon.
Yeah.
That seems counterproductive, though, not having a targetable phaser cannon or
didn't have a tilt and swivel option.
Yeah.
like my monitor does.
Yeah, that's
does seem kind of silly if you say it that way, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You really couldn't figure out a way to just turn a little bit left and right, maybe a little bit up and down.
Well, if you look at like the post World War II destroyers, the United States Navy, they had in front that I think they're not the Spruance class, but the Summers class destroyers. I think that's right. Anyway, they had 2 gun emplacements forward, and they had an amazing ability to elevate. They would do everything but shoot straight up.
Right.
You don't want to shoot straight up. That's a bad thing. But
not unless you're driving really, really fast.
Yeah, exactly.
And the stuff lands behind you.
You could elevate them to 85 degrees, Hammer.
Holy crap!
Those 5-inchers. That's a 5-fucking-inch gun. You can't elevate a 16-inch to that level, but you can elevate these 5-inch guns.
That's right.
To 85 degrees, and you can shoot practically to the port and starboard quarters in terms of the radial range. So you can do everything but shoot your bridge.
That's crazy.
And so if that capability was present, that class of destroyers started in 1947, just after World War II. You would expect that in Star Trek they would have at least that good a capability. No?
Yes. You would think.
Just saying. Anyway, yeah, I'm agreeing with Hammer that I think it's a little bit silly. And,
So I was wondering how disruptors actually worked.
Right? The Klingon disruptors.
Whether the Klingons, Breen, and Romulans all use disruptive technology.
Yeah, that's right. I've forgotten about that. Yeah, that's.
Gotta admit, they sound a lot cooler than the phasers do.
Yeah.
They cause damage by exciting the molecular bonds of target. I'm just reading this to great extents, so that those bonds are weakened. So the molecular bonds are weakened or broken. The chemist in me says, "Why don't they just rebond?" As they will. It's kind of like making them hot. Okay, they're moving around and then they settle back down. I guess there's some kinetic force too that actually causes the separation. So anyway,
and what's so interesting is that actual directed energy weapons that we're using, you can't see a beam or nothing. It's just
right.
You see the effect. Yeah,
it's like the heat ray described in the original H.G. Wells' War of the Worlds book.
Okay.
Yeah, our lasers just emit, and you see the emission point and the point where it meets whatever its target is. In between, there is nothing.
Flaming. Yep. It's fascinating.
So that's a laser as opposed to a phaser. So We'll get
Right.
there.
No, that's the laser, right? Exactly.
We'll have phasers in a couple of years.
Gotta have phase technology, right?
That's
Phase.
Joe reminds me of in the episode The Outrageous Akona when the two ships are coming up
Yeah.
to the Enterprise and Worf's like, they have targeted their lasers on us, sir. And he's trying not to laugh.
Picard kind of half turns him and says, "Lasers?
Yeah. What?
How dare you fire those minuscule weapons at my ship? Come back when you have real weapons."
Yeah.
Or in Contagion, when everything stops working and the like they're hanging nose to nose with the Romulans and the shields are like up down.
Yeah.
And the weapons are gone, and Riker's like, if it becomes necessary to fight, could somebody please find me some rocks to throw at them? Like,
25th
my
century
God.
rocks. Going back to the outrageous Akona, they do fire at the Enterprise, and all you do is you hear the impact. The ship doesn't rock at all.
No,
You just hear,
it's
pew, and that's it.
just- Shall we
How
return
puny.
fire, sir?
I was saying,
No.
no, just yell at them really hard. Stop it. Okay. Oh, that's terrible. I shouldn't be making fun of lower equipped people because that could very well be us.
Yeah. Yeah, meanwhile, some alien race is listening to this broadcast, and they're like, you think
That's-
your weapons are so good,
That's something we have not done yet.
huh?
No Apollo mission had weapons on it
That's
that
true.
we know of.
They kicked it around. If you know
Was
the
it
story,
discussed?
It was discussed. And they were going to give them like a little Beretta. Seriously, semi-automatic, like a little 9mm.
How can that
I wonder
Yeah.
how far that would have traveled on a.
work without
How
air?
how long would a bullet travel in space?
Or no, on the moon.
Long fucking
Like
way.
if you were on the moon or something where it's what, 1/6 the gravity, and you shot a Beretta.
Anyway, they decided that there was no point in it, and they
Well, you
decided
can't
not
shoot
to
a weapon in
put it
space.
Sure, you can.
There's no
You have-
oxygen. How do you?
You have ammunition that has oxygen
Oh,
enough.
you have to have special
In the
Yeah.
special
front.
ammunition. Yeah,
sealed
but you
ammunition.
just can't take a Glock and shoot it. It's not going to work. You have to have something
Well, if you have
specially
the
made.
if you have the right ammunition, it really will work. But you have
Is there
to have-
ammunition that's made that way already?
That's a good question.
I don't think that exists.
I wonder if there would be enough oxygen trapped. Well, first of all, you might shoot it while you're inside your spacecraft, which would be,
Uh-oh.
and that'd be fun.
That would be a really bad idea.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
That could make everybody's life interesting very
I
quickly.
think windows open on spacecraft.
And yeah, they couldn't figure out why they would have to use it. It was just an idea that came up in like one committee meeting.
In case we're running
Maybe
some
we ought to have a
Russians
little
on the moon.
Beretta that could carry it. No, we're not going to do that. And, in case the Russians land too, and we have to kill them.
We have to go to war with them.
Exactly.
We got to fight over this hill.
Could you just imagine
It's our
trying
credit.
to shoot weapons on the moon where there's no atmosphere for sound to travel? Just
You would see it.
just
But it would
flashes.
make-
just
Yeah.
just-
Yeah, you'd actually see you would see the barrel flash because you'd have combustion and
Right.
you would have that. It would vanish. the smoke and everything would vanish very quickly because but it would.
There wouldn't be as much
Yeah.
resistance, man, because of the vacuum and.
Or
and,
a bullet would have escape velocity on the moon.
oh yeah.
Bullet wouldn't see ya.
A Glock could be
If you
a
didn't
Glock could
shoot
be
it
a
into
sniper weapon
Yeah,
because you just shoot and just go forever.
Right,
Think about it.
exactly. I mean, you really could. You could shoot that son of a bitch a long way, and if you shot it into space, it's history. It's gone. It might actually interesting. That's an interesting thing, and I could actually do the math for that. would it go into orbit around the sun? And I think the answer is yes, because it does not have enough energy to escape the sun. It would go a long way before it slowed down enough to, go into a what would likely be a very eccentric orbit, depending
Yeah.
on what azimuth you shot it at. But yeah, that's an interesting idea. I actually think that a bullet depends on the mass of the bullet. If the bullet was small enough, it would escape
And then of
because
course,
of the momentum. Oh, interesting. Gotta think about this.
and then of
A
course,
very good.
and I was gonna say, and then of course, some unlucky man-made probe on some somewhere. Oh shit! There's a puncture hole in the probe.
That would define coincidence. That space is.
Can you see the meeting
really
afterwards?
big.
You designed a probe that's not bulletproof?
Yeah.
You shot a bullet into the sky on the moon? What were you two
Well, who was
thinking?
it? Alan Shepard played golf.
Yeah. Alan
Yeah.
Shepard brought
Not much of a game though. One shot and a golf ball's gone.
He brought the head, I believe, of a 6-iron
Mm-hmm.
and screwed it on. He'd had it modified so it would screw on to a piece of equipment that they used to install something else. So he had a handle,
Mhm.
and he brought a golf ball, and he hit a very nice 6-iron shot. You can see him hit the shot, and the ball just takes off, and it just goes and goes and goes.
Bye
Yes.
bye. Bye bye.
You know that
I'm
was
not
fun.
walking after that.
Oh, man. Apollo 15 was maybe the most fun of all the Apollos, in my opinion. And it
Dean
was
Cernan.
because yeah,
17.
15. Yeah,
Was Cernan on 15 too?
no. Who was the
I'm confused.
lunar? 15. I just remember that Alan Shepard came back, and he was just, had. Oh no, not that one. Maybe it was 16. Which one was he on? 14 or 16? Apollo 16, maybe.
Sorry.
We're gonna have to Google foo.
Yeah, no, I'm actually having to look. I can't believe I can't remember. I used to know all of their names, including the guy in back. That that was John Young, Ken Medley, Charles Duke. So it must have been 14. It was 14. That's what it was.
See, guys, this still counts. It's about space.
Yes, exactly. This is important stuff right here. Yeah. Apollo 14, not Apollo 15. Apollo 14. The one with Ed Mitchell and Alan Shepard, because Ed Mitchell is just such a nice guy, and Alan Shepard is just a pistol. He's just a typical Navy aviator, wild man, and Stuart Russo with just sardonic sense of humor. Very interesting group of people. Great group of people. I remember this now. Yep. Anyway.
So, have we done our weapons? Is there any other weapons anybody wants to mention?
I can't think of any weapons. There were a lot of things that were really cool about the ships, but
Kirk's penis.
Yeah, I said Kirk's testosterone one. Was my favorite
Yes,
weapon.
yes, exactly. That was used as a weapon
That's a good
on
one.
many
That's a good one.
unsuspecting women, but no, that's about all I got.
I think they were a little suspecting, if you ask me.
Yeah.
So maybe even seeking it.
Are you saying she's wanting out there?
It's like that chick in First Contact, not the episode First Contact, not the movie, where Riker is on an undercover observation mission, but he gets found.
Oh yeah.
And he's
All
trying
the
to
other
escape.
aliens are waiting for me.
He's trying to escape the hospital, and the chick's like, "I'm gonna help you, but you need to make love to me first."
That's the chick from Cheers.
It is.
The same actress.
It's Lilith, I think.
Yeah, Lilith from Cheers. And funny how Lilith in Cheers is so cold and uninviting, and in that episode she's gorgeous.
Well,
It's
you know
like,
how
holy shit, that's the same person.
You know why her name is Lilith? Lilith is the demon in Jewish folklore, is the
And
female demon who hides in the ruins of the cities that the ancient Jews conquered and abused, and stole the souls of the soldiers who went out to take a leak in the middle of the night and went crazy. That was ascribed to Lilith. It was also said that she stole male babies and ate them.
well, and the funny
No.
thing
That's
is,
that's where Lilith comes from. That's why Lilith Fair. That's anti-man, and they
Yeah.
named it that
yeah.
Yeah.
on purpose.
Sure.
And
For real player.
and the thing is, the thing about Lilith, her character in Cheers and Frasier, her name is Lilith Sternin. She's Jewish,
Of course.
and her parents named her Lilith. It's like, oh boy. So next Trek stream, I will be DMing you guys because Ghost Dog, one of my patrons and a longtime subscriber,
I know
sent
Ghost Dog.
a link with a topic that he would like to see us talk about. So I'm going to take a look at that and DM you guys with it.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And remember
And
my
then-
idea about moral
And then
decisions.
after that, I think we're gonna do the moral thing, the moral choices, the moral decisions. So we actually have 2 streams planned ahead now.
Oh my god.
Holy moly!
It's not the kind of planning that the audience has become accustomed to. That's for sure.
That's very
Okay.
So on that note, guys, thank you so much for watching, and it is time for shilling. Mr. Hammer, you have your show on Wednesday night on Minions, correct?
Yep. Hopefully this Wednesday I'll be back home in time for the show. Yes.
Yes.
What are you doing time-wise, Hammer?
This week we're moving up to 9:00.
Okay, so you'll
Yeah,
be
we're
on.
usually 11:30. I talked to my other hosts, Terry and Genti Maxi, and they're on board with doing a 9:00 show. I probably will, unless there's something that comes up, I'll probably stick with that time period.
Okay.
And Mr. Irate, who are you interviewing tomorrow?
Tomorrow is going to be Pete, the Aussie Pete, also known as Pete.
Oh,
or Pete
okay.
Oh, my buddy.
Hades. Peter Hades. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah, Pete.
Yeah.
Pete.
nifty dude.
Good
And the
old-
XD tonight is going to be the call-in show.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm expecting a sparse attendance since Medico is going to be rolling.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Metacurse thing is tonight, isn't it?
hmm I think I got a feeling that it's going to be about Biden
Yeah, with the
or
title
Ethan
like
Ralph.
with a title like the ice cream extravaganza, whatever, the ice cream social extravaganza. It's either gonna be about Biden and
I'll bet he-
Pelosi or Ethan Ralph or both,
I'll bet he barbecues Susan too for keeping
Oh.
his money.
probably.
So
She still owes him.
And
yeah,
then
they do actually. Anyway,
and then I may do a Beat the Blind Girl tonight. I'm not sure, so keep an eye on Twitter for that.
I have a
and
show too.
I was just about to say, you not only have Tuesday night on Minions at 11:30 Eastern, but you will also be on with Harry tonight, correct?
Yes, indeed. We've got Harry tonight at 10:30. My show is at 10:30 on Minions Channel on Tuesday. I'm kicking around the idea of moving it to 9, like Hammer did. I'm just not finding a lot of good reasons not to do that. So
The reason I decided to go with 9:00 is because there's a bit of a vacuum there with Lord's Ending, and a lot of
Yeah.
those people are kind of hurting a little bit because they missed the show. And I figured,
Yeah.
well,
Monkey's
give-
going to be streaming at 9, though. You know that.
sometimes he will. Monkey's
Yeah.
big thing is he doesn't want to be held to a specific time period, and that's
As-
cool.
As I pointed out, yes.
Yeah, that's the reason why I went at 11:30 last week, was because I spoke to him and he said, "Yeah, I'm going to do 9:00." I said, "All right, well then I won't move to 9 this week because you'll have a 9:00 show, and it's going to make people feel even more comfortable having him there at 9 than having us there at 9." So I was like, "All right, you take 9:00. I'll do 11:30 this week, but next week, who knows when he's going to be there?" So I figure I might as well move to 9 just to
I
have
don't
somebody
think
there
there's
consistently.
I don't think there's any point in scheduling ourselves around Monkey.
No.
I think we should do
No.
what feels right, feels good, and just go with it.
Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't want us to either.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly. That no one.
because his show is
No,
usually not at 9.
Yeah.
His show is usually at 11:30.
Yeah. or at 2:30 in the morning.
just
Sorry,
depends.
Monkey.
It just
I had to
depends how
point that-
bad his sleep disorder is this week.
I just had to point that out that he's
Yeah,
almost
and
always
he knows that
streaming at
we're-
the same time as Minions is.
He knows he's among friends here. We're just having a
Yeah.
little fun. All right. Well, anyway, that's all I got, Blind Press.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to come back for the coffee stream on Monday. And thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Twitter to see when the next Beat the Blind Girl is. And have a great weekend, everybody. Bye.
Bye,
Bye, guys.
everybody.
Bye bye.